Welcome to Inside the Upside Down. I'm Mike Ricksecker, author and ghost story. With me is our chat shenanigator from Edge of the Rabbit Hole, Shauna. I could call you basically the heart and soul of everything of Honored Road Media.
And apparently, I look like an avatar tonight.
You look like an avatar tonight.
I am
Oh,
blue.
you are blue. Somehow you are blue. Yeah. Well, hey, it
I'm,
goes with the blue lights back here. It goes with the blue lights, yeah. And then you can see behind Shauna, it looks a little different on her end because, well, Shauna's now moved into the new house. So I will be there later this week. So I thought, yeah, Tom McNicholas, the heart of Shauna. There you go. So I thought what we would do tonight, since we are embarking on this move. Shauna moved in there last week. I was there this past weekend, and then in 2 days, basically like a day and a half now, I will have everything in the van and we'll be headed out there to Illinois. So that presents us with some different changes to Haunted Road Media. Hopefully those changes won't be too noticeable in some regards, and then other regards there's just going to be some natural different things going on. There's $10 super chat from Tom McNicholas. He says congrats on the new house. So, and I guess we could start with that. Then we'll get into like, some programming things that we're doing, we have coming up, projects that we've been working on, these sorts of things. And then, of course, we have the publishing side with the books as well. So, there's Candy Orton, Shauna, and Mike with a big heart. Thank you very much. All right, so yeah, so the new house, it has presented something kind of interesting to us that we didn't. Housing there where Shauna's at is very limited. Of course, we need to be where Shauna's at because her boys in the last couple of years of high school, and of course we're not gonna go ripping kids out of high school the last couple of years. So Shauna's in a very small town, so with housing limited, there's only a couple places that we could look at. And for a little while there, Shauna, it was almost like we're kind of scratching our heads, like, what are we gonna do?
right?
Pamela Rainey is asking, is it haunted? No, it's
No,
not haunted.
no, I haven't noticed anything, and I've dropped the shields a little bit and to see if I could see or feel anything, and nothing so far.
No, no, nothing
So,
so far. Let me bring up Periscope. I kind of forgot that. Um, no, the thing. What? I got it. That's fine. Stupid thing. The thing that's really interesting about this house, you know, is the outbuilding, the quote unquote outbuilding that's in the back, which we're going to be setting up as a studio. So Haunted Road Media will actually have its own studio. Andrew Cox, $10 super chat, saying congrats. Is there a basement?
no.
No, there's not a basement. There's not a basement, but it does have like a crap ton of storage, and like I said, this outbuilding that is really big. I took a photo. I still need to send it to my dad, and I was going to show him last night. He was over here helping me tear down some of this stuff, because it's like, well, I guess Shauna, a previous owner, had it set up as a shop. There's all kinds of workbenches and lockers, and there's a lot of room. So I was telling my dad a little bit about it. Didn't show him the picture yet, and saying, hey, you could bring like your machines and tools and everything over here. So that was its original intent, but we're looking at studio here. So yeah, Andrew Cox, cool deal. We have our own studio. So that's going to be, as long as we can get an internet connection run out there properly. Shauna's smiling about that because of what I'm going to have to do to run an internet connection out there. That's where we would be running these shows out of. Edge of the Rabbit Hole, Inside the Upside Down. Of course, Shauna and I won't have this hookup here where she's calling in via Skype. She'll be right there with us. So that reminds me, we need to get another microphone. Yeah, Bethany Warner, is it heated? There is.
Yes, there's heat and um, air conditioning out there.
Yep. So we won't die out there.
It's not quiet by any means, but um, you know,
Yeah. So Bree's asking, can you hardwire connect or get Wi-Fi boosters? So I don't want to use the Wi-Fi boosters because trying to live stream much prefers a hardwire connection rather than going through Wi-Fi. I've tried Wi-Fi before, either on here, like way back early day, or with Enigma Underground Radio, and it doesn't work out as well. The quality's not as good. Um, so I want to stay hardwired. So yeah, I have to run a cable all the way out from um, where the router is in the house all the way out there. So that's kind of the one challenge. So this coming Tuesday, next week, a week from today, we probably will not. It's doubtful, very doubtful, we'll have that set up. So we'll be working on it. So where Shauna's sitting at right now is most likely where we're going to broadcast from next week. Um, so
maybe we can just put the banner up behind us.
we'll put the banner up behind you. I have the thing that I usually put the green screen on. And I've done that, used that very thing with the banner at events and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll use that, put it up behind us, and we'll make it work for next week just fine. So now, some of you may be concerned about the quality of that particular connection because of the test that we ran last week. So that's all part of the growing pains of when you are moving your media company from a 100 megabit per second on the download connection that I have here in Ohio to out in a rural area that's a 25 megabit per second DSL connection. So we had to test it, and well, it didn't initially go so well. And Shauna was all worried that that we were going to kill Edge of the Rabbit Hole and Inside the Upside Down. And I understood that concern, but me, the eternal optimist, like, we'll make it work, somehow, some way. And it was basically in the configuration. I did figure it out after the fact, after everybody was basically like, this connection's crap. And it basically, not to get too techie, but I'm going to get too techie. The way I have everything set up with the broadcasting software here is to go over that 100 megabit per second connection. So the bit rate was set extremely high, and I needed to bring that down to come across properly over the 25 megabit connection. So I tested that later on after the fact on an unlisted stream. Everything looked good. We're going to go ahead and test that officially with all of you on just a random test over this weekend just to make sure. But we got that figured out, so those who tuned into that, no worries. So, Bree Jones, too techie in whose world? Well, for some. And Dawn is saying that Haunted Road Media needs their own satellite. I did make a comment about that hey, there are these news crews that go out there into the middle of nowhere and broadcast live. So we should be able to. Would have loved that for Cheney House this past weekend.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which you do apologize about that we tried. I ended up unlisting that investigation video, so I appreciate those who tried to tune into that. Karen, who we met this past weekend, had an interesting suggestion on Facebook, because Royce Hinman from Noreen's channel was offering some advice and some assistance in that area. And then Karen chimed in after that and was like, not to kind of step on our toes of the tech chat, but could we have just used a wireless repeater? because there is a Wi-Fi out there, but it's in the another building. They have a museum building back behind the house, and the Wi-Fi is out there, and so it just wasn't strong enough to get out to to the areas of the house that we were going to investigate. And it's like, well, yeah, that actually would have worked if I had a wireless repeater in my back pocket. So, but it's something to keep into consideration for future investigations that you know we could possibly do a setup like that if there's of course a Wi-Fi available. And actually, the password we had didn't work anyway. So, but we will make a better concerted effort to try to get these out to you because I know you guys like the live investigations. Um, so Bree Jones is saying, "Are you saying this about Cheney?" She says, "You bet your ass it was Sage the minute Shauna opened the door." What is that? Oh, about the new house from Donna. Okay, Donna Gorton is giving us a question here from Adam. So per Adam, is it Tillery? Is Tillery in the house here? It's got to be Adam Tillery. Yep, there he is. From Adam Tillery, has or will the new house be blessed, cleansed, or saged?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Just because. And there's a new moon. Actually, it's full moon. There's a full moon coming up. There's a lunar eclipse that we will not be able to see, but the energy is still going to be there. And I missed it, and I looked all over to find out why, but apparently the moon was just red as hell last night.
I missed that here. It's been
And
raining.
yeah, there was a lot of cloud cover, but what little bit I could see, I was so sad that the clouds were covering it because you could see that glow even through the clouds. I was like, what in the world's going on? And then a friend of mine posted a picture, and you could very clearly see Mars, Saturn, and the moon was just like this red dot in the sky, and it was just crazy. I was like, where's this coming from? So I don't know if it's because an atmospheric thing, or I don't know what's going on, but it was not in the media. So
Right.
yeah.
So, and that's kind of another nice thing about this particular house, even though it's like quote unquote in town. I mean, it's in town of a town that's out in the middle of nowhere. Um, the the moon and the stars right there are really bright. Yeah, I remember the first night that we were there, and I was like, "Oh, Shauna, you got to come here," and it was like a beautiful view of the moon.
I mean, it's like right in the middle of town, so you wouldn't expect, but we have so many trees in the backyard that it blocks the lights, and it's dark enough that you can see stars even in the middle of town. So
Yeah,
that's a bonus.
it's definitely a bonus. So, so yeah, I mean, it's gonna work out. So I don't. I mean, there may be a few naturally, a few bumps in the road that we'll have to navigate. When we're setting up. But what I would like to do as we're doing the whole setup and getting everything ready is basically like vlog that for you guys. Like, okay, you know, here's the open building, and here's us transforming it into the studio that's going to be the new digs for Haunted Road Media for the next couple of years. So,
And Adam, I think your pictures that you drew for us, those are going to go in the library.
yes. So there is there's a little dining area there that we're not going to use for dining. That we're gonna have the bookcases and everything there. Good spot for the pictures, or if we put them out in the studio. So we have options. I got a big, and I've never taken it out of the tube. A huge poster from the movie Dwelling. Which is something that can go up out there. So we have a lot of different things that we could possibly do. And Shauna, Bonnie Halpern is asking if you are being affected by Mars.
Does that include moodiness?
Yeah.
I've been very moody.
Well, I mean,
And
we're moving. It's been stressful, so
yeah, and the lack of sleep. And I've just been just really super stressed out. Um, oh, other than that, I've had some weirdness going on, not inside the house, but just random stuff that um, I've been noticing, like en route between home and work at night. Usually, stuff that I just see that's so quick that it's like, should I pull over? Or by the time I pull over, will it still be there? I've been noticing a surge, and I contributed it to, the upcoming eclipse, even though we can't see it, the full moon coming, um, isn't like Mercury and something going on there too. Um, all kinds of stuff going on. So I always attribute it to whatever's going on out there in the universe. So
Candy Orton says all women are affected by Mars. Nice.
yeah.
Does that mean all men are affected by Venus?
Yeah, because women are
John
from Mars, women are from
John
Venus.
Gray. Yep. There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be I think a really good setup for us. And Tom is asking about where the kids are going to eat. Well, the kitchen, so we'll have the kitchen table there, and then there's this little dining area, and the house is from the outside is kind of deceivingly. It looks small, so if you ever saw a picture of it, you'd be like, really? There's like a ton of storage space, and then these couple of sheds, and then the outbuilding in the back that will basically become the headquarters for Haunted Road Media. And so it's kind of an interesting transition that we're going to make here. And trying to me, it's like another adventure. We're going to set up the studio. We're talking about the library. With this little dining area that's there. We'll have all the books back there. The table will be there, so we can research and all of that, which is fantastic because Shauna and I both love to research. And we've been diving into some interesting things lately. So there's a whole Alton project that we've been working on lately. That we're behind on just because of how the year has gone so far. There's been times that I've forgotten equipment on some of that stuff, which now that we're together, that won't happen. And be like, oh crap, I left this out in Ohio, or whatever. So it'll be all there local, and then Shauna will not let me forget stuff.
Because we are going to implement the checklist.
The checklist. Which is funny. Shauna gets on my case all the time about you need a checklist and da 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 da. Part of my job, actually not part, like a huge part of my job, is getting on other people's backs because I have a checklist, a deployment checklist that they have to adhere to, and if they're not, getting it right, and if they're missing things, or I'm on their asses all the time. So it's funny.
Aren't you glad that you have me to do you now?
Yeah. Anytime.
Oh my gosh.
You walked right into that. You walked right into it. Dawn is asking, how many miles has Mike driven going to and from his Shauna?
A lot.
Tens of thousands. I mean, it's there and back is 1,000 miles. And when I lived in Maryland, it was farther. So,
yeah,
tens of thousands. So I've been putting.
That's love.
Yes, that is love. That is absolutely love. And just between that and all the events that I've been driving out to go to, I've been averaging about 40,000 miles or more each year for like the past 3 years. So, and I'm going to post it here because it's going to come up here very soon, within like the next month or two. My car is going to hit 300,000 miles, so I will post that when it happens. Shauna's shaking her head, but my car loves to get out there on the road. So.
But your car you have car envy. You want my car. You're gonna have to get an
like
Impala.
Your car. Yeah. Really do like your car.
I told on you to your car.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that because I can't have my car break down anytime soon and get pissed off at me and be like, all right, fuck it, I'm done. Can't have that happen.
I The ghosty that I was going to give to Carol that I'm going to try to stop off and give her this week, I have it sitting next to my original ghosty,
Hmm.
and they definitely don't look like they could be related. My ghosty is yellow.
I know. I was kind of. I mean, this is my original ghosty, and when I showed this earlier, when we did the contest, and Chuck Banks won, and I was showing Michael, hey, we have ghosties, and his followers are called ghosties, which is kind of cool. It's almost like synchronicity with the universe, right? Yeah, he's looking kind of yellow, but all my extra ghosties are there in Illinois. So except for one, I had one here that was guarding the apartment while while we were unpacking or moving Shauna the other day. But I had to send that out today because Charlotte Harden from Girls vs. Ghost ordered a ghosty, so I sent that one to her. It's the only one I had available. So there you go. So the original ghost, and it's fitting that the original ghosty was here for the last show from Ohio. So there we go. He rocks. And Shauna has him now turned around on my dashboard the apparently proper way, because both Shauna and my parents agree that he should be looking out the windshield. So Donna Gordon saying Mike's got a cowlick in back. Yes, thank you, Donna, for pointing that out. I just got my hair cut today. It's one of the reasons why I was running behind. But yeah, so it's sticking up in the back a little bit. Thank you for pointing that out. Really, really appreciate it. All right. So I am sensitive about my hair. Bree Jones is saying I want Shauna's car. Tom McNicholas is saying you need a new event to buy a new car. I don't know. It's not like we made money off the event. It was given to Mineral Springs and yeah. I'm being told to behave, but that was a while back. Okay. All right. So that's yeah, and see there. Yes, there it is. So that's kind of what's going on with the outbuilding and the new studio and what we're going to be doing with that. So we'll be going live from there. The Friday Night Ghost Frights will be filmed from there. There will not be a Friday Night Ghost Frights this Friday. I don't see how it's possible. 'Cause tomorrow night's going to be spent getting the last of everything packed around here. Driving out on Thursday, that's going to be a day of driving. It'll be a lot slower since I'll be driving a truck and towing the car and all that. And then Friday, I have work in the morning, and then we're unpacking the van. So what I was thinking, Shauna, was that maybe we could do a special, maybe even like a live Mike's Morning Mug or something like that. I don't know. So
Yeah, I mean, I have to work on Friday.
no, I'm talking. I'm
So,
talking on Saturday. On Saturday.
oh,
Yeah.
well, I have to work on Saturday too. So yeah, as long as it's in the morning.
We have to work on
Oh,
Saturday.
no, no, no. No, I don't have to work
I
on
was about to
Saturday.
say.
I'm off.
Yeah.
As
Usually,
far as I
yeah. Usually you have Saturdays off. I mean, every once in a while, called in, but
as far as I know, I'm off.
okay. The next, I will tell you though that the next Friday Night Ghost Frights will be Elizabeth Short in the Black Dahlia case.
Cool.
That will be the next Friday Night Ghost Frights. So I've been doing my research. Of course, it's a very famous case that we've probably known all about. I mean, that many of us have known about for a long time. But very interesting. We'll finally sum it up here on the Haunted Road Media YouTube channel. I had a request was put in for that actually like a couple years ago. And I don't even know if the person that requested it is still watching the channel. But it's one that I've always wanted to cover, and I just have. I mean, it's like I know enough about it to talk about it for like 3 minutes, but to give everybody enough detail and all that, I've been doing my research here the last couple weeks. So everybody's saying cool down in the chat, which is awesome. So what is this about Pam being a slave driver? Okay. Yeah, and Zippy Davis saying, handle your business, Mike. We will be here. And Candy Orton is saying we understand Mike, get moved safely. Yeah, so it's moving week. So I mean, once we're settled in, it's like Haunted Road Media is going to be in full swing. Yes, I mean we both still have to work and all that. Um, I lose my commute, which is a beautiful thing in all this. I do have to go back to Ohio once a month, um, but it won't be like I was going out to Illinois. Usually twice a month is what I was trying to do, and then of course I had my daily commute and all that. So I'll be losing the daily commute in one of those trips. So there will be some extra time to work on stuff, which is wonderful. So be looking for, well, Shauna, we're still looking for the Vandalia video.
Yeah. I still need to listen to my audio.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it's, we love Vandalia. Of course, the first investigation video that we did last year was a pretty popular video, and we went back earlier this year, back in April. You know, it's now almost August, and we still haven't posted the investigation video. So that's a lot of type of stuff that we're going to start getting caught up on. So there's the Vandalia video. There's Old Licking County Jail, which Shauna unfortunately was not at, but that was one of, I have to say, it was one of the most active walkthroughs that I've ever been a part of. So a lot of times when we do these investigations, especially if it's the first time that we've been there, you know, we'll have whether it's the museum docent or a tour guide or whoever's running the place, give us a walkthrough of it, kind of, well, tell us the history, kind of point out some of the different hotspots and places that are deemed to be haunted, that sort of thing. In this particular walkthrough, I filmed almost the entirety of it, but there was just so much going on. It was, like I said, probably one of the most active walkthroughs I've ever been on. It was like every spot we were walking into, there's a little bit of something here, a little bit of something there. Some other times there's a little bit bigger something going on. So that one was really cool, and like I said, I wish Shauna could have been there for that one. And then there's, of course, the one that we just did, the Cheney Mansion. So, which we tried to go live for you guys.
Still have to do and listen to my audio from our Paracon also.
Yeah, and you're right, there's that too. We did a live investigation with the Haunted Road Media authors on Friday night, and then we had the public investigation on Saturday. And Shauna, you had that big moment up there. I don't know which room you want to call it in, but it's on the top floor, and it's with that room down the hall on the left. They don't really have a name for it. It's just not Pearl's room.
There's stuff that happened in there that's really not public knowledge yet. Like the behind the scenes story behind it.
Which we can't talk about, right?
Right. Like all I can say is, there was an EVP with my name from that room. I have no idea who it came from, but I do know that, and like I said, I call her Molly because that's the name that came through my head. And the response to saying that wasn't just felt by me, but if Mike would have been any closer to me than he was, I probably would have knocked him over when I jumped up.
Well, yeah, you practically did jump in my lap, and whatever was going on in that moment had enough power behind it, because even I was pushed back a little bit. So it was like both of us almost like at the same time are jumping back. And yeah, you almost ended up in my lap.
It was, I wouldn't say scary, but it was just so powerful, that energy. And I don't know if it was going to be like that. I'm assuming I got the name right. So I'm just going to continue to call her Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. And what I would be interested to know is if she's the one that also said your name one of the times that we investigated last year.
Right. Yeah, who knows if we will ever find out, her story. I don't know. All I know is that, I like to go up in Pearl's room, but I'm going to be spending some time over in that other room. And I know that, Vanessa had the experience that she had there.
Yep, she did too.
a lot of other people, say that, the energy is just, it's bad, it's terrible, but even after hearing what happened there, I still, don't feel bad in there. Just, there's just energy there.
Yeah.
And then this time it was a little more significant than any of the other times. So, yeah, I,
Yeah.
I could easily be alone in there. I could be alone in there despite, what happened. Um, I would like to try that with the cameras and like we do, sometimes, point it in to see what happens. And but with you not too far away, in case, um,
Well, yeah. It's, it's
just
it's definitely a location that we're going to do more out of, and especially now that we'll be there together full time, we should be able to. Oh, and Donna and Dave have basically told us that anytime that we want to head in there, um, especially during the day, yeah, that we can just pop in there and do something. So look for more of that from us. I have been on because we have a lot of Mineral Springs footage over, I don't know, what, like 8, 9, 10 videos. I don't even know now because we've gone live from there many times. That I think it would be nice to do like a compendium type of a video to put it all together. I
yeah.
think that would be good. So we did have a couple of questions up here from, let's see, and thank you, Donna, for grabbing these. From Christopher McCord, have you ever investigated in Georgia? Christopher, I've been to Georgia many times. Well, I won't say many times, but a number of times, and have not yet actually investigated there, unfortunately. Savannah
Yeah.
is a bucket list item, absolutely. So,
I've been to Georgia en route to Florida a couple of times, but um, first time I went through, I wasn't into the paranormal yet. The second time, it was no time to stop anywhere, really. So, bucket list.
yeah, definitely. But we'll do that for sure. So, from Candy, how are you both doing with all the lifting, etc., after your surgeries?
I'm fine. And the reason that I'm fine, Candy, is because I followed the doctor's orders and didn't overdo things. So, but
Who, me?
somebody did follow the doctor's
I'm
orders
fine.
and is still feeling the effects of surgery. Oh,
I yeah, I've pushed it. You know, I mean, come on, the well, first things first, I had to get groceries. So there was that. There was, and just the first that first rabbit hole and inside the upside down episode after the investigation, after the surgery, where it's amazing to think of, but sitting here like this for a couple hours actually puts a strain. And I never thought of that. That I would just be sitting here. It actually puts a strain on that area. And then after the show, I laid back because I'm just on the couch here. Shauna and I were chatting over Skype for a little bit, and then when we finished our conversation, I went to get up, and I felt this white hot searing pain right there where the main incision was. And so basically it was the muscle was tearing more in that area. So and doctor tried to tell me that it was, well, it sounded like scar tissue that was tearing. Okay, fine. But yeah, there's just, I've tried to take it easy from time to time, but life needs to happen. So yeah, I've had to pack, I've had to do stuff, I've had to go, and I had that month where I didn't travel out. I spent a month not traveling to go see Shauna, right? So, which sucked, by the way. Um, I didn't do any events. Nothing. May was like nothing. Nothing happened during May. It was me sitting here. Um, but yeah, I have lifted things that I should not have been lifting. Setting up for the Paracon, I was doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. Um, it still hurts right now. It still hurts, as I'm sitting here talking to you at this moment. I was yesterday. I was just stretching at my desk at work, like this. I won't do it all the way now, but just stretching back. And all of a sudden, right there where the main incision was, it just like cramped like unbelievably, and I was like, "What in the world is going on here?" So that's the long story of yeah. But I'm being honest here. Shauna's right. I didn't take it easy, and
You- You're going to have to learn to accept some help now that you have help here.
yeah,
That includes from me.
yeah. I wasn't gonna let life stop. I guess I don't know. So
Well, sometimes life needs to not stop, but maybe it just needs to move a little slower than normal and let other people in your life help when they offer. Believe me, I know it's hard because that week that you were with me after my surgery,
you didn't want me to help you, but I was there, and I did.
yeah,
Yeah, there's Lynn's White. I had to lift the thing of bottled waters after my gallbladder was removed. Oh my God, hurt city. And yeah, that's basically what's kind of going on. It's like you think simple things like that's why I said going to the store and getting groceries. I had when I had the surgery, I had enough there for I don't know like 5 days or whatever. And it's like okay, well I should be able to go to the store and get a few things and because I wasn't supposed to drive until after 4 days. So then what like a day or maybe it was 6 days. I don't know. It's like a day or two after the 4 day limit. I went out to the store and just lugging because I gotta come up the stairs too. And that's essentially yeah. Enough of that. All right. Yeah, and Pamela Rainey is saying words of wisdom from your future wife. I know. I know. She's right. She's absolutely right. I'm not denying that. So, but that's that. Thank you for asking. Um, so that's what's going on with the video side of it, and there's a lot of things that we could talk about with that, like I think a new project, Shauna, that we're going to start on lost cemeteries because of some stuff that we came across at Cheney Mansion. Um, and maybe we should leave that for the video when that comes out, or maybe if we have a little time here at the end, we could talk a little bit about that. But I did want to get into the publishing side of it too, the book publishing part of it, because I did say a couple weeks ago that William Stillman's book, Conversations with Dogs, was supposed to come out, and that has been a crazy ride with our printer. It's just because the formatting is a very, very different formatted book than what we've done. I mean, usually our books have been 6x9 black and white with a color cover, right? I mean, we've been churning those out for a couple of years now. Well, a few years, right? We started in 2015. Shit, it's gonna be So we've been doing that for a while now. But Williams is full color, and it's a 8.5 by 8.5 book, so it's a square book. Very different, and so there's been like a lot of back and forth. We had some like a little bit of legal stuff there at the beginning, just because his was previously published by a different publisher, and that publisher became defunct. So William asked us to reprint it, and so we had some legal stuff to take care of there, which was fine. That just took a few days, but then it's just been the formatting issue ever since then. So it's kind of like one of those like any day now. If we finally get the final thumbs up, his book will be out. I'm hoping in the next couple days, but I'm hoping before the end of this week. And I really apologize to William. He's been a great sport about it. And we're actually going to have him back next Tuesday. So I really want his book out before we have him on the 31st. Then we have Marla Brooks. Marla Brooks has a paranormal fiction book that she's written. It's pretty much all ready to go. There's like some final editing. There's formatting that we'll have to do, and then the cover. So there's a bit of that set up. So that should be out. I'm gunning for September on her book. Of course, then we have the Encounters with the Paranormal Volume 4 that'll be due out before Halloween. So usually we try to have that out by the middle of October. This is featuring the Fairy Plantation. Thank you to those who have submitted their stories. It's we have quite a few this time, Shauna. And I know that you're still finishing up on yours. Yours is really interesting because it's a your joint one that you're doing with Rob Guttrow. And that was experiences that you guys were having at Mineral Springs when we were there for the Paracon.
Right. I would like to, I'm hoping that he visits again because I'd like to get him back out there and see how things go now that he's had a chance to um, maybe familiarize himself a little more and mingle his energy with his stones. So,
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't hear everything you said because I was being told in the chat that my sound was a little bit lower, and so I was just checking the volumes. Yeah, it's freaking it's Windows. Sometimes it will auto lower or raise the microphone levels on me. So that's basically what happened.
yeah, I gave Rob um, I gave Rob some of my own, one of my own crystals, um, because he was really feeling some of the more negative energy, and um, we were having some shared experiences, too, at that point, and I really, didn't want it to become so much that he had to leave. So um, I had already had, hematite, uh, on my body at the time. And so I just took it off and I saged it and I gave it to him. And, he said that, literally there's just like this little, circle, on his palm where he could feel, the weight, of that stone and the buzz on it. And, he said he could, tell a difference. And so I told him to make sure, to sage it, often, to charge it, if he remembers. And of course, I'll send him a reminder. There's a moon coming up. And I'd like to see, now that he's had some time to have it, to use it, and stuff like that, if things still affect him, the same way. So, because the experiences that we were sharing, stuff that was happening at the same time, stuff that usually happens to me anyway, but stuff that I had not even told him about yet. But that was still happening at the same time in the same places and stuff like that. So, very happy that it happened with him, actually.
Yeah. Rob is such a great guy. So, yeah, excuse me. He has talked about coming back out for next year's Haunted Road Media Paracon, which would be fantastic. And we'll have him back on the show, of course, too. So we get him on a couple times a year. I mean, he's one of my best friends out there in Maryland. So, yeah, great guy. So, definitely.
I tried to keep it.
Yeah, that was really cute. It was really cute.
Can we keep him?
Yeah. Well, I don't think his husband would appreciate that. So.
Well, we'll have to keep him too.
Oh, okay. And all the dogs?
Oh, well, okay. I mean, I love animals, don't get me wrong, but there's a reason I don't have pets, and it's because I have kids, and sometimes that's the same.
Yeah,
Seems like.
I get what you mean there. So for Halloween, or a couple weeks before Halloween, we'll have the next Encounters book out. So again, appreciate anybody who's submitted for that. We do still have another week left. The deadline is July 31st. So if you're still working on a story, or you've been mulling over the idea of submitting a story for that, you have a week left to do so, and that would be fantastic. Of course, if you have a story about the Fairy Plantation, that's an extra bonus. We would really appreciate that, since that's our featured endangered haunted location for this particular book. And remember, part of the proceeds from this book do go to help the Fairy Plantation, just like we're doing for Mineral Springs, just like the Goldenrod. So there's that to keep in mind as well. So those who submit a story get a free copy of the book, access to author discounts, and you also get full author credit as well. So when you run your name on Amazon.com for an author search, your name would come up. So that's very, very cool. And yeah, we do have a lot of submissions so far. I've been really happy with it, which is good. The other thing is that I am also working on my Shadow Person book, and I'm putting some renewed. I know I've been talking about it for a while. I was hoping to have it out this year, and just been super busy. But I'm putting some renewed effort into that, trying to find whatever few minutes here and there to work on it. Was really encouraged by Ocean State Paracon and my presentation there, and the feedback that I got from a lot of the people that were there. Like the Johnson brothers were there, Keith and Carl. Had some really interesting conversations with them following that. And if you watch the video, they were asking some questions when we got to the Q&A section. So Carl really made me think about some different characteristics of shadow people that I'm going to do a little more research on and include in the book as well. So yeah, so that's... If you have any shadow people stories you'd like to share for that as well, of course, I am including personal experiences from other people within that book as well. Because, with that type of book, that's usually what you do. You talk about the different characteristics and different qualities and different theories and all that. And then you also share, people's stories and experiences within that as well. So I am collecting those right now as well. So that stuff is coming up. Sean Gilmore is asking, are you making a video of a Licking County Jail? Yeah, that will be coming, Sean. Talking a little bit about that earlier. And I know that those parapooches, those dogs, some crazy stuff with Sean going on there. So it'll be really, really interesting once we get that together. Vandalia's first, though. We've got to do Vandalia first. What else do you guys have? Oh, Betty, question. Are we all going to get together after the wedding? Maybe have a picnic? I don't know, Shauna. What do you think?
I don't even know if there's a date. I mean, I think we could go live.
We could go live. Live stream it?
For everybody that can't be there, even though we probably won't see the comments, maybe appoint somebody local to field the comments. And
yeah, so that while we're going through the ceremony, so he says, hey Mike, what's it feel like to put the ring on her finger? Well, as I'm putting it on, it feels fabulous.
It's like, do you feel like there's any spirits lingering about watching the ceremony?
Right. Yeah. That would be entertaining, actually. Our families would be wondering, what the hell is going on here with this?
I promised my mother I would not wear black.
Okay.
But there's going to be black.
Somewhere there'll be black. But I can't imagine you're going to wear white either.
No. Right. Nope.
Let's do purple and green. Okay. Let's see what else you guys have here. 'Cause I think there are a couple others here, right? Let's see, that's the question from Sean. And Tom McNicholas. Love books. Wish I could read. Nice, Tom. Okay, that's when you're telling me about my sound. Okay. And then, okay, from Sean, can I get your book from a store? Oh, this is from the other Sean. Okay, Sean Oldsmith. Can I get your book from a store in Australia or only online? Well, if there's a store in Australia that is carrying it, yeah. I don't know do you guys have Barnes and Nobles down there? Because I know you can always like walk into a Barnes and Noble and say, hey, order me this book, and they'll get it for you. You can also get it. Yes, you can also get it online in Australia as well. Yeah, you'd have to ask your local bookstore. Should be available to them to order. So, Christopher McCord, Shadow Person book sounds amazing. Yeah, Christopher, I've had a lot of shadow people experiences. So, very first shadow person, I won't get into all of it here because I know a lot of you have heard the stories, and I've been posting some videos here lately. My very first, well, most likely my first paranormal experience was with a shadow person. It actually touched me, interacted with me, and then I've had several more after that. Not always, that one I woke up in the middle of the night and it did some stuff, but not always in that situation. So there's been some on investigations that I've seen, and I don't know, they've kind of always been there along the way. It's kind of excuse me, starting to lose it a little bit. Shauna and I kind of talk about this a little bit sometimes, where I see more shadows and she sees more apparitions. We've each seen shadows and apparitions, but it's interesting how we each see more of one than the other. So, but yeah, I do a whole presentation on shadow people. So, spooky. Dawn saying, to the tune of White Wedding, nice day for a live wedding. Nice. Do a musical wedding to entertain us. So yeah, who's going to be our live music?
During the ceremony or after?
Yeah, good question. Tom McNicholas say do a musical wedding to entertain us. So yeah.
I mean, there'll be.
We'll figure that out. We'll have music for sure. That's for sure. From Diane, is there a date set yet for your wedding?
No, and I have no control over that.
We'll put it this way. Yes, we're going to get married. I haven't officially popped the question yet.
No pressure.
No pressure. Now that we have, like 45 people in the chat, like, hey, when's that happening? I've been waiting. We had the hand fasting, yes. And I did
That's a spiritual wedding.
It was. So we are to the universe married. We are not yet to the state. So, and since I was in Ohio, well, still am for the next day and a half, and she's been in Illinois, we haven't made that legal part of it happen yet. So when I get out there, yeah, I'll figure out the right moment, the right time, the right setting, and all that stuff, and pop her the question when she's least expecting it. Probably be in some cemetery somewhere, or who knows. Maybe it'll be during Inside the Upside Down episode. You never know.
My God.
We could be cleaning out the outbuilding and just turn around and say, hey, will you marry me? Drop to a knee suddenly.
I'll be like, okay.
While we're both sweating our asses off and brooms in our hands. And so romantic. So Dawn is saying we should dress up as ghosties. And well, yeah, and there's Diane. Mike, you gotta drop to one knee and ask her proper. Of course. Betty is asking if I'll do it tonight. Tonight, Mike. We're waiting. Yeah. Yeah. The B3 airspace. Well, get off the pot, Mike. What movie was that with Chris O'Donnell and Renee Zellweger, where he was like trying to propose to her, and he just couldn't figure out the right words to say. He's like, well, it's like, what they say, like, it's time to shit or get off the pot, and that was like his proposal. They went to like the most fancy place in town. Like everybody was like, no, he didn't just say that. Um, Susan Sack, have a Halloween wedding. Well, we had our hand fasting on October 29th. And I think we do want to keep it in October, right? I think
I
preferably.
mean, a friend of mine's son and his fiance are getting married, and near Halloween. Um, and they're having it at McPike Mansion in Alton, which is you know, one of the hot spots in
Yeah.
Alton, which is really cool. And it's going to be, everybody's going to be, dressed in black and, looking, all Halloween, vampire, gothic, so heavy metal. I'm pretty happy about it. I can go to a wedding and wear black. It's pretty cool.
Definitely. Um, see, Don says we should have Alice Cooper play the wedding. Sure. I'm down with that.
I mean, let's just getting a hold of the man is
Shauna's been trying.
hard. I mean, we have his son's band on the radio station.
Yeah,
Got a
yeah,
hold
we're
of him.
playing his son. Yeah.
Co-op.
Co-op.
Yep.
Hey! The alert just popped up on my phone. It says that the files for conversations with dogs has been reviewed and they meet the technical requirements. All right,
Yay.
right here, live. On Inside the Upside Down, William Stillman, your book will be coming out. I could probably release that tomorrow. Surprise him in the morning. Let's release it tomorrow. As long as everything just... Because I will have to look real quick to make sure everything is cool. So we may actually be releasing that tomorrow. Finally. Like I said, I feel real bad for him. That he's had to wait here a few weeks. Tom McNicholas saying, pop the question on a live investigation. That's an option too. I'm not showing my hand on this. Betty's asking, how much land are you living on? I don't know. What is that? About a third of an acre, maybe? I mean, it's not like a huge yard or a lot of land or anything. It's just, what we could get here for the next 2 years. They happen to have this really great building that we're going to use for a studio. Now, 2 years from now, we will be looking at a place that, maybe has some more land, hopefully has kind of the same, studio type of setup. I don't know. Shauna and I don't want to be like in the middle of everybody, so.
Yeah, I kind of like to be near. I like to be near convenience, but not right in the middle of it, where my neighbors are like here and here. And, if I want to go outside and charge my crystals under the full moon without my neighbor watching me, wondering what kind of sorcery I'm up to, you know? Um, Not everybody is open-minded, so.
All right. Nice thought, Donna. She's saying, drop to your knee and then you need help to get up because of pain in your incision site. Nice. Nice.
More motivation.
Yeah. Yeah, get motivated that I could actually get up from. Yeah. No, that actually has been really annoying because I haven't been able to really exercise much at all, and it's like I need to drop some weight here, and I can't exercise. So what am I supposed to do?
I lost like 5 pounds.
I did it. I did at first because you're eating like nothing, like Jello.
Yeah, my appetite lately has just. I mean, lately, my appetite's just been gone.
Yeah, you have been eating lately, right?
I've been working a lot and been kind of stressed out with move, and it's been so hot, at work, and I'm so busy, and it's so fast paced that I'm more thirsty than anything. And by the time I get done, hydrating, I'm not hungry. So, but I've been drinking bone broth, organic bone broth, and so it's been kind of, filling me up. And it's actually very It's not that bad, but it's
Mm-hmm.
actually, very good for you, I guess. I've been noticing a lot less like joint pain since I've been drinking it. And, I don't notice, it's just not as noticeable as it used to be. So, I kind of have to contribute it to that because I haven't been doing anything any different except for that.
Yeah.
So bone broth, go
Bone
find
broth.
some.
There you go. Bone broth. Fungi is saying you want to lose weight, eat less. Exercise is good, but doesn't burn as much calories as you think it does. Except, um, that's fine. I don't eat a ton. My issue is that I have a very sedentary lifestyle, which does not. Yeah, you have to. There's one thing to be said for over exercising, especially at, when you get into your 40s, you have to start exercising differently. I mean, I've looked into all that stuff. Um, the problem is that, like, for my job, I'm sitting on my butt all day, and then for 100 Road Media, I'm sitting on my butt all day. Editing video, writing, doing all the social media stuff and all that. When I'm driving to all these different events, I'm sitting on my butt for hours in the car. I'm sitting on my butt too much. So, um, you got to get out there and exercise a little bit. So it hasn't been an eating too much thing. It's just a non-moving thing. Um, so, can you not go out for a walk at lunch? Um, so what I end up doing, we're kind of getting a little sidetracked here, but so at about 10 o'clock, I go out for a little walk for about 5 minutes. At lunch, I go out and I get a salad, and I'm working on Haunted Road Media stuff at it's Zoop. Sometimes it's a soup and salad place, and sometimes I'll get a little soup as well. But I'm working on Haunted Road Media stuff at lunch. um, and then in the afternoon around 3, I'll take another little 5-minute walk, and then that's that, that's it. That's it. Occasionally, when it's not like raining or there's not as much going on here at night, I will walk down the road, and then there's a dirt road down here. And I've posted a pic of it, or a couple pics on my Instagram. It's kind of a nice spot, and it's back and forth a couple miles. But I don't. It's not like a daily thing, or it's whenever I can. Um, so yeah, there's that. And Fairy Queen, Diane, car butt equals numb bum. I've had some issues there. I'll just say that. Yeah, the travel for the events and some of these investigations and all that, it does actually hurt your butt after a while. I can't believe we're talking about that on here, um, but yeah, it's a thing, and so that's. I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Sean? I mean, we have a lot of stuff going on with Haunted Road Media. So, um, between the publications and the videos, we have, of course, Enigma Underground Radio, which is kind of taking a little bit of a back burner here with our moving over the past month. So we have a lot of new music that'll be pushed out there on Enigma Underground Radio here, coming up in August. Um, the Cemetery Project, which I think is really interesting. We came across a lost cemetery, and I think there's some different aspects here that we can look into. And I was actually talking about this. I know you probably haven't had a chance to watch it, but when I was driving back here the other day, Sunday, 2 days ago, it's all a blur. Sorry. I was talking about how um, between the discovery that we made the other night and like the cemetery there in Campsville, it's overgrown up on the bluff that nobody remembers, and other ones that just been lost to time. We could probably really do something here on lost cemeteries, in trying to remember some of these. The effects of. I mean, there are spirits that are associated with some of these places that while sure, it may not be a place where spirits always hang out, but I do believe they come back and visit from time to time for various reasons. Um, and to be completely forgotten like that, sometimes graves being desecrated. Fairy Plantation, you're talking about gravestones being plowed out into the water. It's I think it's something that we could really dive into and maybe bring some awareness into some of these different things that are going on. Because you hear about there are always the old superstitions and legends about doing things with Indian burial grounds and desecrating those, and sure enough, it comes back to bite people in the butt when they do that. But I think it happens in other places too. What do you think?
Yeah, I and even back several years ago, I um, you know that was pretty common in Campsville. Actually, people would be like, "Hey, I found what looks like possibly a gravesite on my property," and then I didn't want to do anything about it, but my parents or my whoever moved it, moved the stone out of the way, but is the body still there? And now we've got all this stuff going on. I feel like it's because of that, and definitely whenever you're disturbing someone's resting place, you there's consequences to that, and I believe that 100%. I think that if you may not be able to always have control over that, over moving the remains, you know, but at least, something different needs to be done, about it.
Yeah, and it sounds like with this place back there behind Cheney that it sounds like people didn't really have a say, from what we heard, and it sounds like people don't even remember it. We what was her name, Carol? We had asked her, and she was saying that it was like the rich, more affluent people in the town just kind of went in there and they wanted to make it a park, and they just removed the headstones, and now nobody remembers that it was even there because there's nothing marked. There's no marker or something to signify that there had been a cemetery there. Apparently, we're gonna go check it out one of these days, coming up here pretty soon. But just to not even recognize that there had been something there, is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Oldsmith. Anyone disturbs a grave deserves what they get. Yeah. Yep. All right, you guys got into foods. Yeah, I guess we did get a little off track there with the food, but we're sitting here talking and chatting and having a good time. So, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up at that. Oh, Andrew Cox, what about investigating the wall of the former Confederate prison in Alton? So we've been there a couple of times. It's got some interesting energy off of it. I think not necessarily that site, but the fact that the stones from that former prison have been spread all throughout the town, that's really creating an energy there throughout the town. Even in Mineral Springs, they have some of those stones there that have kind of just really amped up the overall energy of the town to, makes it more conducive to the paranormal activity that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there. You can feel, even if you didn't know that something had happened there, but for me personally, it's so loud and it's right there, downtown. And so to do any audio, anything at all would be just, I don't see it. But, I've, read stories, people that have seen, people, guys, that look, like they've been through it, walking in the area, that the prison used to be in, and I'm sure, just residual mostly. But there's other buildings around that area that are old and look really cool. That whole downtown area is just full of
Yeah, there's a lot going on down there.
amazing buildings and architecture and the old, cobblestone streets, and it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So Bonnie Halpern and B3 Aerospace are taking off for the evening. Thank you both for joining us this evening. And then Betty was asking, do you pace your investigations? So, yeah, I mean, generally, we'll go for a little while, we'll investigate, and then we'll take a little break, and then we'll go and investigate. And usually, what we do in those situations is, like when we just did Cheney House. So our idea originally was to go live from the doctor's office and then the children's room. The whole live thing bombed out on us, so we were in the doctor's office for a while. And that's where we stumbled across the information about that cemetery. Then we went up to the children's room, investigated there a little while, and then came back down, took a break. They actually had a birthday cake for me, which was very, very nice. Thank you, Ron Turner, for setting all that up. Appreciate it. So we had some birthday cake, and then we went back out and investigated some more. So I mean that's kind of the idea, is to kind of break it up a little bit. And yeah, because if you just go like full bore for a couple hours on it, I mean you could do it, but you're really, really exhausted by the end of that.
It helps to have a game plan.
Yeah. All right. So Hagelin is saying my favorite graveyard is Virginia City, Nevada. Yeah, Virginia City. That's another bucket list item. I've been wanting to get out there as well. So there's a lot of places out west that it's funny. I've been to like all but 3 states, but I just haven't really done any investigating out west. It's like I've been through the areas, I've visited stuff like that, but it wasn't for investigative purposes. So although Perry Hotel in Salt Lake City, I did have some crazy experiences there. I was not there to investigate. I was there on a business trip, and it's definitely a very haunted hotel. So, Tim Shone, have the spirits ever wished you happy birthday? I don't know. Maybe. And I just didn't realize it. So, and Dawn is interjecting a little bit on the pacing. She said she took a break every hour at Waverly. So, yeah. South Dakota, the Badlands would be cool for an investigation. So, yeah, I've been to the Badlands. In fact, when we drove into there to visit, it was the same year that the Bullet Boys' first album came out, and so my headphones on my Walkman, I'm cranking up Badlands on the Walkman as we're driving into there. So. It's a very cool place. We did have a rattlesnake in the bush by our car. Some good photos. It was a good time. It was a family trip. So, all right. I think that's probably going to be about it. See if there's any other questions here. Of course, as we're about to sign off, Atlantis Paranormal comes in and says, hello, paranormal friends. Hello, Atlantis Paranormal. From Betty, have you ever smelled cigarette smoke? Yeah, different cigar smoke, cigarette smoke, different places. Had different smells, perfumes at times. So yeah. Now we're getting all the questions. Have you ever been to Skinwalker Ranch? From Sean Oldsmith. Nope, I haven't done Skinwalker Ranch. So would like to, for sure. I mean, like any of those places out there, I'd love to get to. For sure. I mean, we were talking with Michael Scott earlier tonight about California haunts, and there's a lot of great places out there to investigate. Of course, we talked about the Queen Mary. That's definitely one. Winchester Mystery House. Of course, I don't think you can actually investigate there. There's Whaley House. Then there's some other like smaller places that we talked about as well that he's done and kind of explored, and it's a lot of great places all over. So Betty's saying Custer Battlefield, bad vibes. Yeah, I believe that. From Tim Schoen, if you ever had the opportunity to do so, would you investigate Bobby Mackey's? Of course. Of course. And that's not actually that far. Would certainly do that. USS Midway aircraft carriers, fabulous to explore. Yeah, I've done some on the East Coast. Have I done an aircraft carrier? Battleship, USS Massachusetts. Again, that was all like when I was a kid. I was on those. A lot of old, like there's a lot of old forts and stuff in the east. Um, Love investigating or just exploring some of those places. So, um, Betty saying my brother served on Midway. Wow. Okay. Very, very interesting. So, we'll talk World War II real quick. So, this is kind of interesting. Betty, you're bringing up Midway. This is how close I came to not being here. my my grandfather on my mother's side was actually stationed at Pearl Harbor, and my aunt was born, so he went home on leave, and then the attack happened. So, fortunately for my family, he wasn't there for the attack, but he was stationed out there. And yeah, if my aunt hadn't been born when she was, then because she was the oldest of 10, my mom was like right in the middle somewhere. So it's heartbreaking what happened there. So, all right. So Shay Carroll is saying, and we need to get wrapping it up here. Mike, send New England peeps my way for my show, please. Okay. yeah. It was nice to reconnect with a lot of people from New England at the Ocean State Paracon. It was really was a great time. So, Spooky is saying Bobby Mackey's way too much. Nope. It's one of those that because everybody says that stuff. Bree Jones says thinking the same about Bobby Mackey's best to stay away. That's the thing that draws me in. It's like, okay, everybody wants to stay away. I'm gonna go check out what's going on. I don't know. And Carrie Parrish, Bobby Mackey's the portal. Best not to jumble around there too much. Yeah, and I get that, and there's a lot of stories that center around that, but there's other places that are portals too. I mean, Shauna, the cafe.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me want to stay away. So, yeah. I mean, you can, when you hear stories, about places like that, you really, not everybody is going to have the same experience. Maybe I'll have the same one, or maybe it'll be worse. You never know. But it could be something just totally game changing too. So, I gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where Shauna and I are kind of like two peas in a pod there. It's like, oh, okay, let's go. So, all right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We are almost 20 minutes past our hour here. I mean, we usually go a little bit longer for Inside the Upside Down anyway, but I've been losing my voice for a while. Tomorrow's going to be a crazy busy day for me, finishing to pack up before Thursday. So let's go ahead and get to the shout-outs, starting with our Super Chat Superstars, Tom McNicholas and Andrew Cox. Thank you both very, very much. Absolutely appreciate it. So, Donald Gordon, thank you for Cheshire Cat chatting in the chat and grabbing the questions for this episode of Inside the Upside Down. Really do appreciate that. And do appreciate everybody's well wishes for the move. And so, yeah, Haunted Road Media will change a little bit, but we will still be giving you all that fantastic content that we have been. And some new stuff is definitely on the way. Susan Sachs saying, good night, everyone. Safe travels, Mike. Appreciate that. Diane Hilbert, our Fairy Queen, Haunted Road Media Fairy Queen, thank you very much. Good night to you as well. Katie Palmer, thank you for joining us tonight. Again, appreciate that. Chipper Terry, thank you very much. Andrew Cox, thank you as well. Betty and Wayne, thank you for joining us tonight. Do appreciate that, and thank you for all the questions. Linz White, thank you very much. Bree Jones, thank you as well. Sean Oldsmith, Australia, hey. I know Sean Gilmore was in here as well, too. I think I was getting you two mixed up a little bit earlier there. Spell Sean the same way. Yep, I'm seeing there's Sean Gilmore right there. There's Dawn, Spooky Spectacular. Thank you very much. Greg Rinkin, thank you very much. Let's see. I know there was quite a few in here. Shay Carroll, thank you. Cheryl Midkiff, thank you as well. Tim Schoen, thank you very much. There's Atlantis Paranormal. Thanks for joining us tonight. Who else do we have? Susan Sack, thank you. There's Carrie Parrish, thank you very much. And yeah, send out some positive vibes for Carrie. Still having a lot of issues with the liver there. And there's Christopher McCord. Thank you for sticking around for the second show, too. I know you were joining us because of Michael Scott, the first show. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the second show and get a little flavor of... just inside the Upside Down was a little bit different. We're just kind of doing a little overview of what's going on with Haunted Road Media right now. We usually hit some sort of supernatural topic for Inside the Upside Down, but this was just kind of a more... hang out and chat about the changes coming up with Haunted Road Media and what's on the horizon. So there's the Haglin. Thank you very much as well. Who else do we have here tonight? Jojo B. Thank you. It's being here somewhere. I know she's got to be in here somewhere, unless she fell asleep again. That happened a couple weeks ago. Yep, I think so. Fungi, where are you? There's Candy Orton, thank you very much. Zippy Davis, thank you as well. Sharon Lane, thank you for joining us tonight. Chanel F, thank you. And I think that's I'll scroll back down and see if there's anybody else that we need to grab here at the end. Alright, yep, I think that's it. And Dustin Samario, thank you for joining us, Dustin. I hope I pronounced the last name correct as well. So that Tom McNicholas has got to be in here somewhere too, right? All right, everybody. You have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. It is past midnight here in the East, which means it's my brother-in-law's birthday. So happy birthday, Mikey! And you guys have a great night. We'll catch you next week. This is it from Ohio, from this location, for Inside the Upside Down Edge of the Rabbit Hole. So next week it's out in Illinois. Shauna, my love, you have a good night. And we'll see all of you on, we'll try for Saturday. See if we can do a little something there for maybe Mike's Morning Mug number 100. Have a good night, everyone. Yeah.